Hi, welcome and good morning to our live demonstration of the UA1650 ADWS and the efficient workflow with our converting center in order to convert sign vinyl or pressure sensitive vinyl to customer dimensions from orders that come in through an online shop or telephone or email directly into your ERP system. Today, unfortunately, we only can stream this demonstration here from our studio, which is actually the demonstration studio at the NEPATA headquarters in southern Germany, in Wolnsach. We would have liked to be at FESPA Madrid or at ISA in Orlando just over the last days, but unfortunately that's not possible due to the corona pandemic. So we established this small live studio here in Wolnsach to bring our equipment and our software and services as close to you as possible in these days. And thank you for joining me today for that demonstration. As I said already, NEPATA UA1650 ADWS, our converting center, a rewinder up to 165 centimeters with an automatic cross cutter and a slitting unit that goes for slitting only jobs actually up to 190 centimeters. Which is connected to our Convert Plus 2 software solution that we provide with our equipment. The majority of machines are installed with that software, which makes the interface between ERP system and the actual converting process and helps to optimize the workflow, to avoid mistakes in picking wrong material, in picking or creating jobs with the wrong length, for example, or slitting rolls in the wrong width. So Convert Plus 2 helps the operator to do his job right and to make his job more easy. And what we are doing now is we're just running through that whole workflow of having some picking notes with orders we need to ship and how we create those rolls from what material we have on stock. So it all starts with printed picking notes, which come usually from your ERP and get handed over to the warehouse for the guys in the warehouse to know what customers ordered and what they have to convert. So let's use this simple case to show the possible levels of integration for that workflow that Convert Plus 2 can provide. So first of all, printed picking note, then the operator starts the software. He has a list of products down here at the bottom right corner of the software, which is imported from an Excel or CSV file from your ERP system and can consist of several columns. Mandatory columns are a product code and description, but you can add more columns like manufacturer, series, color code, width, standard length of roll, and more data if you like, because all the data you have in there can also be used for printing labels later on, and some of the data also might be used for controlling the job handling or to how to select items from the product list. So from the picking note, the operator knows which material he needs, so he either can scroll through there and double click to bring it up to the preview window. He can also use a search function where he can filter products, so he can use them to those filtered views to double click and select the material. He can also go through these hierarchy of filters, like selecting items from manufacturer to series to color, for example. So there are many ways to manually select. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Many ways to select items from the list, and then you will see in that preview window a standard of quantity 1 and length 1 meters. So you can switch that to, for example, 5 meters here and 8 meters here and 3 meters there. So this is the easiest way how to get jobs created in Convert+2. But of course, this is not really preventing human error, because you can just type in the wrong number or forget about certain lines and items. So the next and better level of possible integration is scanning items from the picking nodes, which means that you, from your ERP system, have to print either 1D or 2D codes for every line you want to import into Convert+2. And these codes need to consist of the product ID and the target length, and maybe also the target unit for this converting job. And then this can be an EAN code or a 3 of 9 barcode or a QR code or a data matrix code, whatever. We can read up to 250 different kinds of codes. So whatever your ERP system is able to print here, we are able to use to get those jobs directly into our software. And this works as shown here. So you simply scan every single code, and then you get the items selected from the product list to the preview window with already the length and unit being set correctly. And now you can also add very quickly more than just one, the jobs for more than just one picking node here by scanning several pages. And the third and most advanced level of integration is to directly import electronic picking nodes from your ERP system, which I also want to show you. So imagine your ERP can export a file that looks more or less like this. It's a simple text file that consists of a data head of picking node ID, and then customer name, customer number, and other customer data, order ID, and then followed by all the single lines that are the products on this picking node. If you're able to create a file that looks more or less like this, so we're quite flexible in adapting our import routine to what you can offer, but if you're able to do that, and we now copy 3 of these files to our to our clipboard, and then go into the so-called hot folder. The hot folder is one folder on your system anywhere on your network, so not necessarily on the local PC, but somewhere accessible from that PC on your network. You can define this folder as being the interface folder between ERP and Convert+2. So whenever your ERP is placing files into that hot folder, Convert+2 will grab them from there and import them directly into the picking node list or order list. And this works like shown. I'm pasting the files into the hot folder, and in real time they are being imported to Convert+2 right away. So, and now the operator will either go to the machine, look for the picking node ID in that list, or if you're able, you can also put a barcode there to just scan the ID of the picking node to select it from the list, which works like this. So now from the list of picking nodes, one is selected, and then you see, sorry that this demo software is in German language here. On the most right column, on the top right corner, you see that some items are selected as yes to be converted on a UA machine, and one is selected to not to be converted. That's because when you're importing picking node, not all of the items will be vinyl films, but others might be tools or inks or hardware devices, or even shipping cost or things like that. So what our software does is it looks in the product database that has been imported into Convert Plus before, which contains all the vinyl film product IDs, and it looks for matching product IDs from the imported picking node. And only if there's a match, then it shows the suggestion to convert, to send this item to the actual job queue. So this is why it says 3 times ja or yes in German and 1 time nein for no here. And if we now create the actual job queue, the one item that's of no use for us just remains there. So, and all of these 3 levels of integration, adding jobs manual, scanning jobs from delivery nodes, or importing them directly, all of those levels can be mixed. So you can have imported orders, you can add some of scanning by scanning, and you can also add manual jobs anytime you want, and mix these ways how to use our software. So to demonstrate the actual workflow, I will now scan again these 4 lines from a picking node and create a production queue out of it. And then the actual work at the machine starts. The operator picks one of the materials mentioned in the list from the warehouse, loads it onto the bottom mandrel here. The tension chucks will be activated automatically later when necessary, and now the operator finds a label here on this row because it has been used previously already within our system, and he scans the code on this label to confirm that this is really a material that's needed for at least 1 item in the pending job list. And in our case, it's actually even 2 lines. So all of the matches of this kind of material in the product queue will be stacked together now and will be performed just one right after the other. So this helps you to save a lot of time because you are not going to bring this row back to the warehouse and then on the next page of another picking node or even the same picking node, you see that you need it again to convert everything you need. So this saves a lot of time. And of course, it's also the confirmation that this is really the right material and you did not pick white matte instead of white glossy or something like that. So now, we will actually feed the film into the pre-feeding head and the cross-cutting unit, where the cross-cutter runs through, with automatic edge detection and a very precise length measurement system, which gives us an accuracy of 99.9% accuracy. We load empty paper core on our swivel shaft that's supported by a gas spring to make it easy to operate. We just slide the core over to the chuck on the left side. Then we will attach the film here to the core and start the actual rewinding process. So the first job is only 1 meter, so that's really short, and the machine is not really accelerating to the highest speed. So now the printer will give us a customer label, which is also you're totally free to design the layout of this label and also pick the right size of the label, whatever you want. And now we will use our slitting head to just trim the core a little, because that one's too wide. And then we can unload the first row, take the second run, and you might notice that the material just remains inside here because we still have a second run to do a roll of 2 meters, which is not that long either, but only a press of a button brings us the film up to the attaching position again, and this saves a lot of time too because we don't have to feed it up again manually. Attach it again. And start the second run for the second roll. And we will receive another label. Now, the customer roll label for 2 meters. And as this was the last job for this kind of material, it's ejected at the bottom, and we receive this label stating us that now only 39 meters are left of this roll. We can put it back on the shelf, and next time we have to take some of this kind of material, we exactly know what it is, how long this roll is, when it has been used the last time. So we also can pick always the oldest roll from the shelf and not by accident taking a younger roll first. So also here we trim the core. Now I want to show you how slitting can be involved in that whole job process. We activate the slitting pop-up window by clicking on the right column in the preview window, and then we see a selection of standard widths that we can predefine here, as many as needed. And so for the standard widths, there is the possibility of usually in your system you will have different product codes for material, for example, full width and half width product, 48 inch and 24 inch, or 126 and 63 centimeters. Those items will have different product codes. And if you're using the slitting system of Conrad Plus 2, for the standard widths, the software will know which label to print now for the not only short but also narrow roll, to make it the right product ID for sending it out to the customer, or to put it back on stock, because this is a function that we already have. Orange means that goes out to the customer, and green means that goes back into the warehouse for further, for future sales. So the product IDs of these two rolls will be right when the labels are printed after the converting job. And also you can add, of course, custom widths here and add, different slitting patterns there. And So now if we would create a job out of this setup, and we do now a manual print because I don't want to rewind again, then here we will not receive one label as before, but two labels. So we can use those two to put one on the left half and one on the right half. This works correspondingly with also, of course, more, if you slit the rows into more different parts. And now our slitting system comes into play. Of course, a 2-meter roll is not a big challenge, but anyway, I give you a short rundown on how that system works. We have a manual slitter here with a single bevel blade at the moment, which is good for cutting sign vinyl. Then the blade is passively rotating. We have a slitting lever with an optional extendable lever for high level of control when performing the cut. We also have optional lubrication system in place, which uses an electric pump to pump liquid lubricant through those tubes into felt pads that are being positioned left and right of the blade, and then constantly wetting the blade from these felt pads, and also wiping the blade clean all the time, so you prevent glue from building up on the blade surface, which gives you nice clean cuts. And then last but not least, we have the line laser in place here that shows us the slitting blade position, so we can go to the right side of the roll and use now the lower digital meter for knowing how far we are from the right edge, and the upper one is how far we are from the left end of the roll. So now we can move inside here. We have a job for 63 and 63 centimeters, but actually our roll is not that wide. So the middle of our roll is at 56.9 centimeters. I use, so you saw that the head is free to move all the time until I press until I press the start button. Now the head is automatically blocked. The roll turns, and once I release this, then the whole system stops right away. Here I have the turning knob to select the turning speed. And now I can use the manual slitting lever to perform the actual cut. Of course, there are other videos about how to use that slitting head, which go far more into detail. So, 2 rows of 63 centimeters. So this was the brief rundown through the workflow with our converting equipment, especially the big converting center UA1650 ADWS. We not only the equipment but also our software system that's often included into a package that we install at customer's side to make the overall gain in productivity and efficiency as high as possible, compared to simple rewinding equipment or even rewinding devices. You can gain up to 40 to 50% of overall productivity because of the efficient loading, unloading, rewinding speed, and then also the accuracy of the whole process. The exact length measurement system adds up to the total gain in not only productivity but also efficiency, and ends in a more profitable way how to convert your vinyl films and raw media, or how to operate your converting operation in general. So that's all for this keynote. As I said, regarding slitting head, but also regarding the software, regarding several other parts of the complete system. There are videos available on YouTube that go much more into detail than this overview session now. Let me have a brief look if there are any questions to answer at this point. Yes, okay, regarding other machine models. So this is, we're now presenting the total converting center that features all rewinding, trimming, and slitting. Of course, there are other machines available, dedicated rewinders, dedicated slitters. This setup here is what we sell the most at NEPATA, because most customers start using our equipment with this kind of machine and then add more specialized equipment in order to increase their total capacity if one machine is not enough anymore. And some are using the combination, or most of our customers are using the combination system of having slitting in place at the same machine than the rewinding feature, but some do it separately even from the start, have a dedicated rewinder and a dedicated slitter. That depends on the kind of product and the kind of application you have. For example, if you do sign vinyl, most of the films you only convert in length and don't slit regularly, but you do a lot of application tape slitting, for example, then it might make sense to have this on a separate device to not block your capacity for rewinding when you're doing slitting for application tape. So there's no golden rule how to make a setup of one or several machines. This depends on the individual situation at your in your company. So yeah, that's and we have of course we have a dedicated rewinder with 165 centimeters, the so-called UA1650. The ADWS means that the slitting is also added to the system. Without ADWS, it's the rewinder only. And we have the UA770, the rewinder with a web width of 77 centimeters. And then our 1900 ADWS is the dedicated slitter. So that's the four converting machines we have in our range. So, as far as I can see, there is no other questions to be answered at this point. So, we're also in times of Corona, we're available here for your personal inquiries. Send us an email or give us a call if you want to know more. If you have any, if you need a specific consulting, we also can do those live videos just for you to show you specific applications or even test your material if you want to see how your specific material can be rewound or slit. Just give us a call or send us an email, and thank you for watching today. Take care and goodbye.